Good morning, everyone. Today I'm gonna bring you about the definition and the argument of this motion. This motion is about this house will disallow the practice of internationally naturalizing foreign athletes to serve on national sports team. First, the international naturalizing is a process that grants a foreign citizenship of a country that bypasses the usual process of naturalization. The foreigner athletes is a people who play in some sports that are not from our country. And national sports team is the team that contain of people from around country of our country that have been selected to be player of the team sports. So naturalization is defined as a granting a person to rights of citizenship or nationality of another country. Naturalization usually becomes possible after a foreigner has been living on a territory of another country for a long time. Knowledge of the official language of the country, a certain amount of funds for living, and a good reputation are sometimes necessary conditions for naturalization required by law. Naturalize, natu- Naturalized citizens usually enjoy less rights than the indigenous citizens during a time period defined by law. Naturalization of athletes is normally exercised with the purpose to add dynamics to the development of some kinds of sports in the country, which naturalize athletes. But if we can see again through this kind of process, we may ask a questions. Are the way the method goes get into the case is worthy to our country or not? We see the procedure of changing citizenship has always existed and being perfected. There are general requirements, and these requirements are specified uh, according to the laws and requirements in the legislations of each country. It is necessary to take this into consideration when the process of naturalization is underway. The process of naturalization is motivated by different reasons, like economic, political, as well as by pure sports one. These reasons move the process of naturalizations of athletes. The process of naturalization takes place when the interests of a country and an athlete are the same. That is why analysis of the interest and attention to them are necessary. When naturalization is underway, there can be a clash of personal interest and of sports management and interest of the country. I stand as the affirmative team to disallow the athletes to get to the international the way that instantaneous naturalizing to serve on the national sports team. First, I will bring my first argument. It's about the problem with the research lies in the ambiguity of the consequences of the real, realization of the process that contain its resources. This is why the early stage of deciding that issue and the more fundamental studies are yet to come. The purpose of this research was to study public opinion on the expediency of naturalization of athletes. The glance of naturalization is not commonly known by people, but in the meantime, we will know that naturalization is cost high price. Instead, and plus, in this kind of method, there must be some impact that can cause the process of naturalization. The resources that we get was not even enough to take one of our foreigner athletes to naturalizing in our country. The really realization of this cost is a million rupiahs and must wait until years going by. It's just not good enough just to enter the 1% of foreign country to the foreign country. Also, it goes without saying that the interests of athletes themselves are taken into account, especially the financial interest and more of sports interests. Despite of that, the importance of the subject's matter has not been covered in sports science so far. There are publications and naturalizations of athletes only in mass media. However, consider only specific facts are considered in these publications, regardless of their essential connection with the set of social factors. The process of naturalization is worked out by lawyers in terms of how the laws of a country correspond to the requirements of the international levels of sports authority. Hence, we maintain that the level of our country of our knowledge of this dam remains unsatisfactory, and this one of more and therefore there are a completed way to realizing one of this kind of method by this research. Second argument is about in our country we must uphold the newbie player of or rookie player that have potential to become good at each sport of Indonesia. In other way, in sports, our country have many newbie that have many potential if we grow it. We see our country even not focus enough in enhance the quality of newbie player that in our country, inside our country. The house should must know that they have the rule to enhance it by covering them to the intent of practicing or even invite some great coach to Indonesia so the kids of Indonesia can shine in each sports by intent of practicing. So my prioritize is to increase capable of player of Indonesia that can be enough strong to challenging other country instead invite foreigner people and becoming our player of national team. This house should see the way our country play at many sports. Let's take an example of soccer. Many each team of province Indonesia have a team of soccer. Inside of the team, we have many young people. Instead, we can find some teenagers that have been play soccer and enter the team that contains predominantly contains by adult. Therefore, many people in Indonesia have potential to be great at each sport. So what I mean, the house can prioritize our country first before the foreigner athletes. So in conclusion, that the instantaneous naturalizing is a complicated way that we have going through. But instead of that, we can get through our country to see how many capable people of newbie or rookie that have potential to be our national team. So that from me, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.